Hey, what's up, guys? Neverender here, and long time no talk. Haven't done a video blog in a while. Today, I'm going to be talking to you guys a little bit about boundaries. Someone requested it in the comments, and I've actually been hesitant to tackle this subject because it's a pretty advanced topic. It's a pretty complicated topic, and frankly, it's one I'm still working on. And not so much with girls, although there's always room to improve with it. But my example boundaries with guys, for example, is something I know personally I still struggle with and still working on. But as you're viewing the screen, obviously you're seeing a text conversation I had just recently with a girl who I had been seeing for a little while, and we got into an argument, and I had to put down boundaries, and I'm gonna kind of give the backstory of what led to this and what I took from it, because what actually made me want to cover boundaries is what I took from this experience here as a part of this text conversation. First thing, just a quick outline of what boundaries are. Boundaries are just basically, I would define boundaries as your personal standards for what you will and will not tolerate. In life and in pickup specifically, you're going to encounter times where girls are going to go beyond what is like a standard shit test. They're going to get angry with you or challenge you or treat you in a way that's going to cause a lot of negative emotions in you. And how you handle that is important in terms of how it sets the course of the relationship, the interaction, and it also is important to how it affects you on the inside. If you want to be successful with women, if you want to be successful in life, if you want to be happy, you need to be a person who has strong boundaries. Doesn't mean being mean, and also doesn't mean being unreasonable or being hot-headed. It's a matter of having strong values and being able to stand up to those values in face of adversity. That's basically a general outline of what boundaries are. Braddock and Dax actually have an audio called Takeaways and Boundaries that I highly recommend you guys, because one, they're much better at boundaries than I am, and they can probably explain it to you a lot better than I can also, but my shit's free. Boundaries works on two levels. One, I think, well, at least in my experience, I kind of define boundaries in two ways when it comes to boundaries with girls. Sometimes I'll put down boundaries as a tactical thing. Not as often, but like boundaries can be tactical. You can put down boundaries in the spot where boundaries might not necessarily be thrown down, but you can tell this would be a good place to put down boundaries for the sake of generating attraction and maybe even just healthy on the relationship. It's always a risk though, putting down boundaries. That's why I think a lot of guys don't do it. I mean, you're taking a lot of risk when you're putting down boundaries. You're basically creating negative emotions in the girl, and you're basically saying that you're willing for her to walk away if she's ever going to act like this. So it's a gamble, and that's why most guys don't do it. But with that in mind, if you can put down boundaries, even in a spot maybe necessarily where boundaries aren't 100% necessary, but if you're putting down boundaries to demonstrate that you have boundaries, it can be very attractive. So there are times where like boundaries are appropriate as a game tactic. More often than not, boundaries are something that need to be done. It's not tactical. It's just it's part of you, acting in line with your values, and just, it's like knowing how you're going to be treated and what you're going to stand for. So in this situation, since I did recently have an experience where I can illustrate boundaries quite well, I'll outline what's going on in this text conversation, what it led to, and something I took from it that I actually felt was pretty profound and what made me want to put together this whole blog post. Alright, so I've been seeing this girl for about 2 or 3 weeks. We've probably hung out maybe like twice a week, and she is a dancer, and she's very, very hot, very attracted to her, but just very, very emotionally unpredictable. And we have been constantly getting in fights over all kinds of things. For one example, I was in the middle of a work meeting when she came over, and we were planning on going to dinner after my work meeting, and she arrives in my condo, and she doesn't want to go up the elevator to my condo, and I text her, I'm like, I'm in a work meeting right now, you need to come up, wait for me, and then we can go later. And she refuses to do it, and she's like, you never make time for me, why do I always have to go to you, yada yada yada. And I'm like, all right, look, if you're gonna act this way, you can just go, but I'm trying to be reasonable, but if you're gonna be this way, I don't want to see you. And she leaves. And there's been a lot of all kinds of drama like that, of getting in fights all the time. And this is kind of like the last straw. Basically, the setup to this was this evening, one of my very good friends, it was his last night in town. He was going to be moving away to Costa Rica for a couple of months. And in addition to that, my other best friend, who had been out of town for a month, is visiting for the weekend, and then he's going to be leaving again. So this night is a big night. It's with me and two of my best friends, and we're celebrating, we're enjoying life together. We're out downtown, going to bars and stuff, having a good time, just like dancing and drinking. And she texted me earlier in the evening and asked if we can hang out. And I say I can't right now because I'm with my friends, but I would be open to meeting up maybe later, like late in the evening. With her schedule, she doesn't go to bed till like 6 in the morning, so it's like not a big deal. She gets upset and asks, and, screams at me for not being able to spend time with her. I'd also told her I couldn't hang out with her the night before because I was working. And, as I mentioned before in this blog, I've been in the middle of like a really big work project. It's part of the reason I can't get blog posts up as much anymore. And we got in a fight over that too. She apologized the next morning over that fight. Said she'd been drinking, and, she didn't mean what she said. And she just likes spending time with her. Anyway, flash forward to now. I'm telling her I'm spending time with the guys. When I'm done hanging out with the guys, I'd be happy to hang out with her, but I can't do it until she's done, or until I'm done with them, because it's their priority right now. She gets a little upset about it, but then she's like, you know what, this is ridiculous. Why can't, you seriously are never making time for me? And I'm like, you know what, if you want to come out, you can. At this point, I'd already been hanging out with the guys for, a few hours. I didn't really want to have her hang out with the group because I wanted to spend time with the boys, but, the night was kind of winding down with the guys at the bar, so I thought I could bring her out. So I told her, if you want to come out, you can. She doesn't text me for a little while, and then eventually she texts me saying, me and my boys, we leave the bar, and we go back to my condo. And she texts me there, and then she texts me, she's like, I'm at the bar, and I text her, well, I'm at home. And then she calls me and goes off on me again, and we get in a big argument about it, and she's being a huge asshole, or she's calling me an asshole. And, at that point, I tell her, look, you need to listen, you cannot talk to me that way. You need to understand, these are two of my best friends, and they have priority over you. I like you, but we haven't been hanging out that long. These guys are the most important thing in my life. You need to be sensitive to that. And she's like, oh, don't you like me? We've been hanging out for a while. Aren't I important to you? And I'm like, yes. And she's like, well, no, what? I don't understand that. I'm not, how you can treat me that way then. And I'm like, all right, well, if you can't understand it, it's probably better that we don't hang out. And she's like, fine. And then I'm like, all right, cool. And then, she calls me an asshole a little bit more, and I hang up. She texts me this, and then I text this, and then we're done. And, scene. Now, what's probably going to come of this, and, this is part of the reason why, tactically boundaries can be very, very good, is, in all likelihood, this girl's going to hit me up again. But I'm staying firm with this boundary. I'm actually cutting this girl off, and I'm done hanging out with her. Which at the time I was really excited about, then I kind of get bummed out about, and then as I searched for kind of the meaning behind, or what I'm taking away from this whole experience, I came up with something pretty positive, and that's that boundaries, for one, they are really important because, it's you standing up for your values, and I knew that, and it makes you feel good on the inside when you stand up for your values. That's important. And but from this specific interaction, I think I took something deeper from it, and that's that it gave me a new level of a sense of abundance, because I had thrown down boundaries before, but it had been situations where, I think a lot of the situations where I wasn't as attracted to the girl as I am with this girl, and it was exciting, and it's exciting for me to think about this, throwing down these boundaries and cutting this girl off, because I was really attracted to this girl, and she was awesome. In terms of physical and other things, she was awesome. and to say, you know what, like, I'm okay cutting this person off. This person is not a good influence in my life. It brings a lot of negative emotions into my life. This juice isn't worth the squeeze. Being able to admit that to myself and then feeling good after setting down those boundaries and cutting this person off with that in mind really sets a new standard for what kind of girl is required, or what level of girl is supposed to be in my life. It sets my standards up. And I thought about it like, I have abundance, but I didn't have abundance in terms of like, I had abundance, but I was working with every girl, and every girl who I thought was hot was a green light. And it was a green light because for me it was all about getting reference experiences and, learning and growing, whether or not it's like, just like, I need, even if I'm not incredibly attracted to this person, it's important that I kind of get in the idea, like, just like work on my phone text game here. Or even if I'm not incredibly attracted to this person, she is still hot and she's someone I can, like, it's impressive if she hangs out with me in front of friends, or and all kinds of other reasons like that. Maybe I'm not attracted to this person, but the sex is really good. In this case, this is somebody who I was attracted to, and she had some good qualities. But as soon as I cut her off, it sets this whole new standard where it's like, while reference experiences are important, what's even more important now is that the people I'm hanging out with, the people I'm bringing into my life, are real quality people who make me feel good all around. And even though I cut this person off in my life, I can look into other areas of my life, or look into other relationships, and I have those kind of awesome people, and I don't need this anymore. And that was a big turning point for me, and it made me feel very, very good, and it made me feel more self-actualized, more authentic, and it makes me feel confident moving forward. That I've come so far to a point where it'd be, I don't know about you guys, but when I first got into game, I was thinking, if I get like a 10, even if me and this 10 like don't connect at all emotionally, or even if she's really hard to put up with, or she's really high maintenance, I'd make that sacrifice because she's a 10. Like the looks are so important to me, the physical is so important to me, how people perceive me when I'm walking around with this person is so important to me that I'd be willing to put up with a lot. And from this interaction, it was really exciting because it felt like it was coming full circle. And it's like, know what, and she can be really hot and there can be cool things about her, but I have a really high standard for the people I spend my time with. And I think that's why that's like a huge reason why boundaries are really important, because they help you define the standards of your life and the people you want to have in your life. Anyways, that wraps up this short story, and I hope this helped to the person who asked about some stuff on boundaries. Again, I really do recommend checking out Braddock and Dax on Boundaries, the audio. It's pretty awesome. Also, from books you should read, Pulling Your Own Strings by Wayne Dyer is a very good one, and Way of Superior Man is a very good one too. Anyways, that wraps it up for me, guys. Have a great week, and I'll talk to you next time.